Good evening, Austin Mayor Steve Adler. You got a minute? We're going to go over the COVID numbers so that you can see those. We'll talk a little bit about vaccines. We'll talk a little bit about the recovery that's happening right now in the city with respect to water. But let's begin with the COVID numbers that we share, looking at the key indicator numbers that we use for staging in the city. And there they are. Notice that the number of admissions today is 35. That takes us to a number that is higher than the 7-day moving average. So it's in the wrong direction. But new admissions, when we last talked 2 days ago, because we didn't do a Got a Minute last night because we had a city council meeting, the number was 28. Yesterday, when we were not together, it moved to 27. And today it moves to 26. 26 gets us into the yellow area, but I know Dr. Escott wanted to see the numbers through this weekend. And into next week, see if we really own it. Obviously concerned about the governor taking down the mask mandate for fear that it'll convince people that we have the virus in hand, and we don't yet. So getting down to 26 on a 7-day moving average is good. And the reason that's happening is because positivity is down now to the 7%, 6.9% number. The number of new cases today, 82. The 7-day moving average, 159. So those numbers continue to move in the right direction, and that's good to see. Let's take a look at the next chart with respect to who's in our hospitals, who's on our ventilators. So that we can continue to watch that, make sure that those numbers are continuing to go down. We look at the other page in the dashboard. So take a look at this. You can see that with the new 82 cases, we're up to 76,447 cases. Key number here, hospitalizations, 233. The 7-day moving average is 248 and continuing to drop. ICUs, 68 is the number we have there tonight. The 7-day moving average is 75. It's continuing to drop. Ventilators at 48, 7-day moving average 56. So that's continuing to drop. One of the reasons why the ICU and ventilator number has dropped here over the last couple of days is we've had a lot of people pass away. 11 people have passed away since we were together 2 nights ago. 7 passed away 2 days ago. 4 have passed away in the last 24 hours. We're at 765 people that have passed away. This is still dangerous. It's why it is that we need people to get vaccinated. It's also why it is that we need people to continue to wear the masking that we need in this city. I urge everybody to continue that activity because it's important. Talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But let us today mark that it is the 1-year anniversary today since I decided to and made the decision to cancel South by Southwest based on the advice from Director Hayden and Dr. Escott, something that we had been discussing at length over the course of the preceding several weeks as a possibility. Something that did not seem like a realistic possibility when we first came up in conversations. But as we watched more and more what was happening around the world, it became more and more apparent it was the right thing to do. Recall back then, it was starting in country across the continent, Asia, but then moving past that, it was just beginning to reach our West Coast at that point. There were outbreaks in Seattle. I was on the phone and talking to colleagues, mayors, in other cities around the world about this new virus that was coming in. What I kept hearing over and over again is just how fast it accelerated once it hit. It may seem far away. It may seem like you only have 1 or 2 cases, but in no time at all, it expands. I remember talking to the mayor of San Jose, who said to me, you're going to find yourself in a room at some point, and you'll be discussing options. And one of the options on the table will be less severe, medium severity, and then the most severe option that you could take to protect people. And he said, when you find yourself in that room, pick the third option. He said, if it's actually on the table and it's out and being considered, at this point, you're probably underestimating what it is that you need to do. So as we were getting closer to South by, we were getting to a place that people were just beginning to really start building out their sites. We were in consultation with South by. Those folks made it really clear that they would do and support whatever it was that the science and the data recommended. We were looking at a large number of people coming to Austin from cities and other countries around the world where the virus already existed. That made us nervous. It was in Seattle, and we looked like we were having, my recollection was 5,000 to 6,000 people from Seattle alone arriving in our city. So the decision was made to go ahead and not have that traffic reach us so that we could start gearing up. We didn't even have a reported case yet in Austin, but the experts told us it was here. We just hadn't found it yet. We did that at the time. We knew it was a horrific decision and that it was going to really be hurting a lot of businesses. So it was not a decision that was made easily. It was really, really hard. But we were motivated by the science and the data. We decided then that our priority was going to be public health and safety and saving as many lives as we could. And that's continued over the last year. This was the first time that South by Southwest didn't occur in the festival's history. Ultimately, the risk was just too great. The latest of the challenges we're facing right now is the governor's order to rescind mask mandates. I'm concerned about that because it potentially could leave frontline essential workers, bartenders, restaurant workers, don't even qualify for vaccines, defenseless. It's up to us now. And that's why I am so encouraged by the number of businesses that are still maintaining masking mandates in their stores and in their operations to protect their customers and their employees. This community really needs all the individuals wearing the masks. It's what has worked so far for us. The governor's order let there be greater occupancy levels at some establishments. Frankly, that was something that Dr. Escott was looking at and considering as well as our numbers continue to go down. But masking, hitting the masking ban, never on the table. It's just an easy thing for us to do while we open up businesses. It's an easy thing for us to do while we open up schools and have students learning more in person. Just like over the last couple of weeks where we've helped one another with the water and the power, this is where we have to help each other again by wearing masks, by having everyone around us wearing masks. This is a resilient city, a wonderful, magical place, and we'll get there. And as I look back this year, though, I did want to recognize the South by Southwest folks. I want to share with you a slide that I think it was we got from the Statesman, just showing the vaccinations that are being put out. The blue line here, the total number of cases. You can see cases continuing to rise. You can see the fully vaccinated folks are in green. You can see the vaccine first dose cases in the kind of orangish, yellowish, not sure exactly what that color is, kind of mustard colored. And you can see we have reached the point right now where the total of people fully vaccinated about equal to the number of cases that we've seen in the state. Represents about 6-7% of the total population in the state have been fully vaccinated at this point. A little bit greater number of people have received either at least the first dose of vaccine. We need to get way past that till we have herd immunity. I went out today and visited the mass vaccination at Judge Brown and the constables out there are pulling together. We will recall they did 3,000 vaccines last week, trying to do 10,000 vaccines this week. It's great to see. They started that today. It's going on tomorrow and Sunday. It is by invitation only, or appointment rather only, focusing on the community care folks. So it's people that are those that are disproportionately most susceptible to this virus. It's not just Travis County. It's four counties. I think that includes Bastrop and Hayes and Caldwell counties. Was out there with the Bastrop County Judge Poppy was out there today. 1,000 volunteers, it seems, out there today. I really appreciate the state, the governor, and Ken in getting that up to 10,000 vaccinations. It can do more out there, and we'd love to get greater supply, but we're appreciative when we do get more. That 10,000 out of COTA this weekend will basically double the 10,000 that Austin Public Health is doing yesterday and tomorrow out at Delco. With the appointment system that's set up. Altogether, Austin Public Health will get out 30,000 vaccines this week, as they did last week, over 30,000 vaccines. The county and the city are prepared to get out 6,000 vaccinations a day out at COTA, but also at Burger Center, out at Expo Center. We could get out more than 20,000 vaccines a day if we could get supply, not only at the mass sites that will probably all start moving to a drive-through kind of system, but also at Dove Springs and the Performance Center at the AISD, also opening up a new vaccine location in Pflugerville. We're going to continue to do vaccines in mobile units so that we get to people who are homebound, working with Meals on Wheels and other organizations in town that support folks in our community that have to stay at home. So the vaccines are mobilized. We're ready to scale up. We just need greater supply for the vaccines coming from the state and from the federal government so that we can really flex our muscles. If you have not registered in our system, please go ahead and do that now. You can go to centraltxvaccs.org. It's another place to go to sign up for vaccines. That's centraltxvaccs.org. That's the site that the county has stepped up. You'll know that the governor, and following from the move of the Biden administration, now has expanded those that are eligible to take a vaccine to include school and child care staff are eligible, even without regard to the 65 age issue. We started initially on the folks that were the oldest, most susceptible, and most in danger of dying if they got the virus. That's an important priority. That's why we focus that way. We also have to focus on the people that are at the hubs of interaction, the people most likely doing their essential work to be potential um, uh, transfers of the virus. And certainly we want to make sure that schools are as safe as they possibly can be to get kids back in school for in-person learning. So school staff and child care eligible now for vaccines. In just 48 hours, Austin Public Health has been able to vaccinate 680 school employees and child care providers. When you add that number to the school and child care providers that were in our system over 65 that have already been vaccinated, we're up to 4,300 people in schools and staff that have been vaccinated. That spans over 11 districts, 24 charter and private schools. And it also includes child care employees as well. Austin Public Health, Dr. Escott, Director Hayden are encouraging all 350 providers of the vaccine here in Travis County to adopt a practice of school Saturdays and try to focus their vaccinations on Saturdays on school and child care staff. They work during the week trying to make it as easy for them to get vaccinated as possible. And remember, there are like 350 providers of vaccinations here in Travis County. Obviously, the city of Austin with over 30,000. It's been getting out the last couple of weeks. Travis County now up to 10,000. Austin Public Health alone has given out over 100, somewhere between 110, 120,000 probably vaccines. Out at CODA, another 3 plus 10, another 13,000 we'll have this weekend, but probably 300,000 vaccines or so total here in Travis County with all the partners, the CVS drugstores, Walmarts, the clinics, all getting out the vaccinations. And hopefully those folks will also focus Saturday on teachers and child care folks. Tomorrow, March 6th, which is Saturday, the first dose of Moderna time slots are being reserved for teachers and child care that have pre-registered in the Austin Public Health system. There are about 12,000 school or child care folks that have registered in the Austin Public Health system. We're going to try and prioritize those folks on Saturday, keeping it more generally open during the week. Vaccine is still extremely limited, so we're all trying to be just as strategic as we can possibly be, but to get it out, continue to make improvements on the platform, make it easier for people to use, including queuing and other ways for folks to be able to know how close they might be, trying to move past the system where you have to keep going and trying over and over and over again. And we're working on, Austin Public Health is working on trying to set those things up. Hey, we are still mid-disaster, winter storm recovery for some of the people in our city. It's still crisis for them because they still don't have water. Folks that don't have water in the city right now are not without water because the Austin water system is down, but because there are pipes that are broken on their property, on the property where the tenants say live. And we're trying to help facilitate getting those things fixed. But we still have some people that need help. Tomorrow, there's going to be some supply distributions. Tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Uplift Austin is helping to organize at 6 locations. 6002 Jane Lane, sponsored by Southwest Key. 1911 East Ben White, sponsored by American Youth Works. 5409 Ponciana Drive, sponsored by the Austin Latino Coalition and the Office of Counsel, my colleague Vanessa Fuentes. 4918 FM 1327 in Creedmoor, sponsored by Del Valley Community Coalition. 1400 Tillery, sponsored by the Central Texas Allied Health Institute. 2011 West Runberg, sponsored by the Parent Support Specialists at Padron. We have also connected AISD parent support specialists with meals and with water that they have the ability to be able to disseminate among the students and families that they work with over the next week. It's significant to note that over the last week, we've participated in helping to support the giving out of over 80,000 meals in our city. We still tying up those last plumbing situations so that people have power to add to their power, water. We have 30 properties right now that we know of that are still reporting plumbing issues. That's down from almost 70 just a few days ago. We have 479 properties that have had identified plumbing issues resolved. That 479 is up from 207 just several days ago. We have 28 properties where we've heard that there are issues, haven't been validated yet. By validated, that means we send out code and they take a look at, try to identify the situation, that there's not water, that there are people there that need help, so that it becomes a priority issue. That 28 properties still requiring validation, down from the 293 that we had just several days ago. If you or someone you know is a tenant in a property that is not getting water service, broken pipes or whatever, make sure that you or they call 311. If you don't have running water and you haven't received assistance, both those two things, please urge the tenants to call 311. Tenants will submit their complaint or their need. They also submit 3 pictures with the instructions from 311. Code then comes out to perform a inspection, to validate what they're speaking, oftentimes to kind of reach out to the landlord, potentially to bring sanctions or pressure, but certainly to bring help and assistance to try and get the work done. As you know, a lot of assistance, a lot of people trying to help in as many different ways as we can. Yesterday, we went through what happened at the city council meeting and a lot of work. We did that, and I did that in an Instagram Live last night. Included things like $10 million in utility bill relief for those dealing with the storm. But here's a new one that we haven't mentioned before, that individuals and businesses who suffered property damage as a result of the winter storm may very well be eligible for a temporary property tax exemption. More information is available from the Central Texas Appraisal District. And if you are in that position and temporary delay with respect to or assistance with respect to property tax, please take advantage of that. The website there is, let me see if I can post it here. Not always the easiest thing for me to do. It's traviscad.org, Travis CAD, which is Central Appraisal Districts, traviscad.org/disasters, traviscad.org/disasters. We're heading into the weekend. hang in there. You can begin to see light at the tunnel. I think that the speed of vaccine supply is going to increase. Operations and distribution are going to get larger to help people. More and more people are going to get the vaccine. The president's indicated he thought by the end of May, most people are going to have had the opportunity to get it. I think that's true, and I think that's going to be true here as well. Please reach out if you need help with support for pipes and that kind of work. You all take care. Good night, and be safe.